Hi, my sewing lovers. Welcome to my channel. My name is Johanna. If this is your first time clicking in, thank you so much. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. Here we do everything fashion talks, sewing tutorials. If you're a fashion lover, if you're a sewing lover, here is the right place for you. So today, guys, I will show you how to cut and stitch this beautiful asymmetric neckline waistcoat. If it's something you like to learn, please keep on watching and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Let's get to it. So guys, the first thing I did was to place my pattern paper on the fold. Then I drew my starting line, which is my shoulder line. Next, I will be measuring my shoulder to chest line, which is 8.5 inches. Then my shoulder to bust line, which is 10.5 inches. And next, my shoulder to waistline, which is 18 inches. Then I will square those lines out. Perfect. Next, I'll go to my shoulder line and divide my shoulder measurement by 2, which is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7, and I'll mark it on my shoulder line and on my chest line and square those lines. Now from that my armhole line, I'll go out by 1 inch and I'll get the midpoint of my armhole, and from that midpoint I'll go out by 1.5. And also on the chest line, I'll divide my bust by 4 and also add ease allowance of 0.5, then also the seam allowance of 2 centimeters. And from that chest line, I'll go down by 1.5 inches because I want my armhole to be a bit low. I don't want it to be exactly under my arm. I want it to be like lower. If you know the style of waistcoat, you know it's not really always under the arm, it's always lower than the armhole. So that's the design I'm going for. Then I'll connect those dots with my curve ruler. Next, I'll determine my neckline width, which is 3 inches. Then for my slope, I'll go down by 1 inch. Then I'll draw my shoulder slope. And to determine my dart, I will go out from my waistline by 4 inches. Then I'll create a dart of 1 inch. Perfect. Now I would place my waist divided by 4. Then I will add ease allowance. Then I would add my dart intake, which is 1 inch. Then I would add my 2 centimeter seam allowance. Perfect. So now we are done with one side of the borders. So don't forget your ease allowance, your dart intake and your seam allowance. Then I'll take my tracing wheel and trace out all the sides of my borders. Now we have a full scale borders. Now I'll be starting from the left side, which has the princess dart seam. So from the armhole, I'll be looking for the midpoint, then I'll draw that princess seam, that curved seam that comes from the armhole to the bust point, to the under bust, down to the waistline. Then from that armhole, I'll be taking in 0.25 from each side to get that intake, to get that contour of my princess dart armhole. So from the nipple to nipple point line, I went out by 3 inches and I squared those dots to the waistline. Then from the waistline, I came down by 1.5 inches. Then also from the side line, I came up by 1.5 inches. Then I connected those dots with a curve ruler. Then also I determined my neckline. My neckline will be a bit deeper for this side of the bodice because this neckline will be inside while the other side will be outside. So now I closed the darts to see if the seams will match, and they did not match. And when I closed the dart, I withdrew that curved line again, and now they are matching. So to draft the right side, I went up by 3 inches. Then from that 3 inches, I went up by 4.5 inches. Then from that 4.5 inches, from that first dot, I drew the neckline, but that neckline must be higher than the left panel. Don't forget, it must be higher than the left panel. So now we're going to draw the right neckline. So we're going to draw the right neckline, and also that second dot, we're going to draw it to the end of the waistline. Right, so now we're seeing this design is coming to life. Can you see the design? Good. Remember, we took out from the armhole from the left side, so we're also going to take out from the armhole from the right side just to contour that armhole. Yeah, just the armhole dart of 0.5 inch. So I'm just going to use my marker to highlight the markings. So yeah guys, I was done drafting the back pattern. I cut out the neckline, the armhole, everything. And yeah, I noticed that I did not insert my shoulder slope of 1 inch, and I did that right away and I cut it off. Perfect. Remember that 1.5 inch we went up by from the left side. We're going to do that at the back also, so that all my seams would match. So I'll do that correction right away. So from the left side I went up by 1.5 inches, then I connected back to the right side seam. So when you put your front pattern together with your back pattern, every seam would match. So all my patterns are ready. Can you see that? So now let's work on that right pattern. So now I'm going to remove the dart from the sides. So I took out the dart from the side, 1 inch from the side, and I connected to the chest line. Then I did the slash and spread method to get that pleat on the right side of the picture. You can see the picture there as a reference to show you what I'm doing. So you can spread it as much as you want, but I spread all this panels by 3 inches, and it gave me what I wanted. I think 3 inches would work fine for anyone. Guys, we are done with the pattern making. Now we are ready to cut and sew this beautiful waistcoat. Let's get to it. So guys, for the back piece, I fused the main fabric. I cut one main fabric and I fused it, and the lining I cut one. Then for the left side I fused and I cut one, and for the second left side I fused and I cut one, and for the right side I fused one and I cut one. Perfect. So for the left side I would stitch the both of them together, but first I would pin it first. Because it's a curved seam, you have to pin it nicely so that it doesn't give you bubble or pleat when you are stitching on the sewing machine. Then now it's time to pleat your right side. Now what I did was to mark 1 inch and I pleat. But at the end I told myself I want to get 5.5 after I finish pleating. So that was what I did. Just pleat as you want, but it must be 3 pleats, just as the inspiration shows. So now I pressed my seams and they're looking nice. So now next I will join them on the shoulders, both on the main fabric and on the lining pieces. So I pin the main fabric and the lining pieces on the shoulders, and now it's stitched, and I also press them. Then right sides facing right sides on the lining and on the fabric, I would pin the armhole, the neck line, and when I was done stitching on the curved seams, I gave notches so that it eased the tension of the fabric. If you don't do that, when you turn it inside out, it's going to look funny and it's not going to turn out nicely. So I turned it inside out and I pressed well. At this stage, you have to press well to look really nice. Can you see I pressed it nicely, I pressed it well, and it looks nice. Then now I join it on the side seams. And lastly guys, I use biased binding to finish the hem so that it looks nice and neat. And guys, this is the end of this video. If you learned something, please let me know in the comment section. This is a very beautiful piece you have to try, and please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Bye from me.